Hello, everyone. And how are all of you doing? We are back. We are back for another episode of Rob's Real and Ridiculous Podcast. It is episode number 30. 30. Man Cave Studios, Valley of the Sun. Valley of the Sun, we are back. I told you we'd have a special guest today. She is joining me in the Man Cave here in Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome to the show, my beautiful wife, the lovely Yovi Higuera.
Hi guys, how are you?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So Yovi's joining us today. She's going to chime in on a lot of topics that I have on the schedule for today, on the plate today for today's episode. She's going to chime in on the Derby. More importantly, she's got a pretty strong background in terms of horse racing. It's the 146th running today of Churchill Downs. It will be without fans. We will get into that. As many of you know, I've shared in previous episodes, her dad is also an ex-professional jockey, and he continues to train horses to this day. He's out in Iowa. But when I open up the show today, I just want to open up with a tough week, a very tough week at my place of business at American Express, and I share how much I love the company and the culture that we have there, and it's like one big family. We lost one of our co-workers last week, 38 years old, Chris Shepard. Thoughts and prayers go out to him. It was very tough, very saddening news. We had the service yesterday on Zoom. I thought his family did a fantastic job and to do their best in memorializing him, honoring him. They did a really good job. So it's been a very, very tough week. As many know, when you lose somebody you really care about, somebody you love. I hired him back in 2013. Got to know him really well over the last 7 years. Great performer and even a better person. Big heart, loved everyone, sincerely loved everyone. So thoughts and prayers continue to go out to him and his family, and hopefully he is in a better place. He's in a better place. Ironically enough, today is September 5th, and 5 years ago today, a very close friend and member of our Fantasy Football League, Drew, he lost his son 5 years ago today, Carson. So I just want to say that a lot of love goes out to him and his family today, and thoughts and prayers, and hopefully both men are up there becoming like angels for the rest of us down here, and that's how we have to look at things when we go through very tough situations and losing people we love and care about. So where do I start? Where do I start today? Last week I think I produced somewhat of a polarizing episode a little bit. I navigated through the political waters the best that I could, but a little of that will come out. But that's all initiated by the NBA. It's all initiated by the NBA. But I'm not going to get into that today. There's too much fun stuff to talk about. Before I get into the NBA, what's really making this day great for the world of sports is typically on the first Saturday of May, Cinco de Mayo weekend, we have the NBA playoffs going. We have the NHL playoffs going. We have baseball in full swing. Are they still playing baseball?
I don't even know.
Are they still playing baseball? Okay. I'm not sure. I don't know much about baseball these days. I know the Red Sox suck, and that's about it. And then the NFL is getting ready to kick off. College football is about to start. But going back to Cinco de Mayo weekend, we also have a big boxing match that night. It's usually Canelo or back when Mayweather fought. And then we also have some UFC. So, and then the Kentucky Derby. So like today is the best we can do to duplicate that weekend that we lost, that Saturday that we lost. We're going to gain it back today because we've got a full slate of big games. We've got a Game 7 in the NHL, Flyers and Islanders. My money's on the Islanders because I feel like that's the team that can beat Tampa, who knocked out my Boston Bruins. As it relates to the NBA, we've had a lot of upsets. And quite frankly, the one I predicted is about to happen. and you heard it in this house, Shivani, you heard me say, the Miami Heat will beat the Milwaukee Bucks.
You did say that.
The Miami Heat will beat the Milwaukee Bucks. A lot of people thought I was crazy when I said it. And it's just the toughness of a team matters the most in the playoffs. The toughness of a team. The Milwaukee Bucks are a bunch of front runners during the regular season who stack up wins and can't produce in the playoffs because they do not have the mental makeup. I like Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think he's a great guy. I think he's good for the league. He is not mentally strong enough. Bledsoe has never been mentally strong. When he played in Phoenix, he was weak-minded. And you need toughness. Jimmy Buckets Butler brings that to the Miami Heat. Eric Spoelstra has turned into a kick-ass coach. And they're led by the Dawn of the NBA, Pat Riley. They're led by the Dawn. That team is going to be very difficult to deal with for the next round. They're up 3-0. Nobody in the NBA has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit. No team. And this team does not have the mental makeup to do that. So my Boston Celtics played today, Game 3. They lost a heartbreaker the other night in a half-second shot. But, hey, a loss is good sometimes, in my opinion. A loss is good. Game 4 today. I beat up on LaFraud James last week quite a bit. I'll try to lay off him a little bit, but I was right again last night. Where was LaFraud? Where was the unibrow? The Lakers lose to Houston. The Lakers lost to Houston. I love it. Does that mean that they're going to go on and lose the series? I don't know. We'll see what Game 2 tells me. But that's another tough team on the other side, the Houston Rockets. You know, I beat on Mike D'Antoni quite a bit just because he's more offensive-minded than defense. But he hired the right assistant coach this year, and that team is now playing defense. And the defense makes a difference. When you see James Harden playing both ways, that's a good sign. That's a good sign for Houston. And I'm a big Russell Westbrook fan. Big Russell Westbrook. I'd start my team today with Russell Westbrook and a few of the Celtics that also play very tough-minded like a Marcus Smart. I'll go to war with those guys any day of the week, and when you have them on your team like a Jimmy Buckets Butler, you're going to go places because it's all about the heart and soul of a lion, and that's what these guys have. So a little bit of NBA talk. Your thoughts on the Celtics, Shivani? How do you think they've looked the last couple games?
Well, that last game, I can't believe they lost. It was like 0.5 seconds, I think, and they brought in Taco in to go ahead and stand there and see what he could do. And I just couldn't believe that they lost at like that. 0.5 seconds at the end.
0.5. I thought it was in a bag. We were watching it together.
It's awful.
So this game's over. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, it did not happen. And you can second guess it all day long. When you bring in a 7'4", 7'5" guy who had not been in the game, people were second guessing it, saying, well, maybe they should have left somebody in the game that was already in the game. Look, when you're that tall, you should all you have to do is stand there and put your arms up. And he did. But they made the perfect Kyle Lowry, the little dumpy Kyle Lowry, made the best pass he could possibly make. And there were some zone issues on the court which created that. But that's okay. I think they did what they could. You can't knock them for that. We'll see how they rebound today. Those are my thoughts on the NBA. I think you're going to see Celtics Heat. You're definitely going to see the Clippers, who is still, in my opinion, the best damn team in the NBA. They just hadn't flipped that switch yet until the other night against Denver. And quite frankly, I don't know with the Lakers series. I'm hoping Houston beats them. But if not, the Lakers are not going to beat the Clippers. So there's some NBA talk there. The other comment I wanted to make real quick as it relates to the NBA is I like to throw these, I don't even call them ridiculous takes out there. And I've thrown them out there. I've thrown them out on text. I've thrown them out on Twitter. Again, tweet me at R1Boat55. Please tweet me at R1Boat55. Who do I always say in this house is the best damn athlete? The NHL hockey player, correct?
Oh, yeah, hockey players for sure.
And you believe that too?
Oh, I've seen it. They go out there, they play tough, they get hurt, and they're still back on there.
They're still back on the ice.
Bleeding, stitches, they're still back out there.
Right. Because we all can walk, we all can run. But can you skate? Can you skate forward? Can you skate backwards For some of the defensemen, better than you skate forward. Can you go up and down the ice like that for 1 minute? For 1 minute and you're gassed. Brad Stevens was interviewed this week on Boston Talk Radio. He does his weekly segment with the local guys. And he was talking about the Tampa Bay Bruins game a couple games ago. And when they went into double overtime, he said, I don't know how those athletes do it. They're the best athletes out there. He said he could never think of an NBA guy going up and down, sprinting back and forth. There's no stoppage, like he said. You will get a blow or a reprieve or a breather when somebody gets fouled. You go to the free throw line. You can walk the ball up slow. There's no slowness in hockey. If you aren't moving those legs, you ain't going anywhere. So, thank you, Brad Stevens, for confirming my argument. The NHL hockey player is the best athlete out there. I know I'll get some pushback. That's okay. This isn't meant for us to all agree, because we wouldn't be having any fun if we did that. Tom Seaver, Tom Terrific. We had that controversy going on, 2 years ago now, Giovanni, where Tom Brady wanted to get the full naming rights to Tom Terrific.
Oh, is that what it was 2 years ago?
About 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of pushback. You know, that's where Brady unintended needs to understand the audience sometimes. He needs to understand the climate. But the great Tom Seaver, a lot of us grew up with at a young age, passed away at 75 this week from dementia. He was a fantastic pitcher, was really great for baseball. So it was sad to see him go.
That is sad.
As it relates to baseball, I still don't know what the hell is going on out there. I just don't think that the coverage is out there like it should be. I think they had the trade deadline last week. I came and went. I think they're 30 games in. Obviously, the front runners that they expected are leading the pack. I can tell you that much with the Yankees, the Dodgers, the White Sox are the surprise of the league right now as it relates to baseball. But as it relates to football, we are, 5 days away from opening night?
5 days, that's it?
5 days.
Where'd that time go?
Houston Texans at the Kansas City Chiefs. What do you think that's going to look like Thursday night?
I don't know. I think it's hard, right? They're not going to have fans there. So how are you going to be able to do that? I know, we've talked about it in the past where, you've even heard like Tom Brady say, you hear the fans get you going. And if you're not going to have them there, how is that going to be a motivator? How does that work? How does that look?
It's the Kansas City. There's some teams in the league that are really, really good at home. Really good. Like the Patriots are really good at home. But I can tell you this much. The fans in New England aren't the same kind of fans you get in Kansas City and Seattle. You'll hear the Patriot players complain the best way they can without pissing off the fans. It's not a loud crowd. It's not. When the team is on offense, the visiting team has the football, it's not loud like it is in Denver. It's not loud like it is in Seattle. And it's not loud like it is in Kansas City. Kansas City is probably one of the toughest places to play. That's why that was such a big deal a couple years ago when the Pats went in there to beat them, to get into the Super Bowl, and then went on to beat the Rams for number 6. Yes, I will get that shameless little plug in there. What's it going to be like? I think they're going to have a small group of fans come in Thursday night, and I hope so. I hope the NFL, and they're usually pretty good at this, has sat back and kind of watched what the NBA and the NHL has done to try and make that a very good TV product. But breaking news, you were with me this morning. We watched the Lombardi line on Saturday mornings here in this house. It's with Mike Lombardi and a few other guests that come on the show. And they talk about their odds makers is basically what they are. But the breaking news was today, Deshaun Watson has signed a 4-year extension with an average per of $39 million a year. $39 million.
That's crazy.
I'm not sure there's any quarterback in the league worth $39 million. You could say Pat Mahomes. You could say I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe Deshaun Watson's the second best quarterback in the league. I don't know. What's that going to do for Dak Prescott, who still remains unsigned for his big contract with Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys? What's that going to do for that asking price? What's he going to command? Is it going to be more or less?
Probably more, wouldn't you think?
Probably more. This is what he wants to do. But I was hoping Deshaun Watson did not sign because that donkey and a half, Bill O'Brien, who traded half the team away, and nobody can stand, and from what I understand, the players do not like Bill O'Brien. Apparently, it worked out. I guess money talks, right?
Of course.
Money
Amen.
talks. Because I was hoping he would be a free agent next year so the Patriots would have a shot at him. You know, whether or not Bill would want to pay him that money remains to be seen. But there's a new guy in town. His name is Cam Newton. What are your thoughts on Cam in the upcoming season for the Patriots?
Oh, I think it's refreshing. He's going to bring a different dynamic to the group, and I'm just excited to see what it is, you know?
Yeah, they've got a lot of work to do. And the one thing I will say about the Patriots, and you know this, with Bill Belichick, and this maddening game of chess going back and forth between him and Brady, like two little high school kids going back and forth. You know, Leonard Fournette was at the top of the list for the Patriots, and before you know it, well, less than 24 hours later, Tom Brady, yes, I said Tom Brady, not Bruce Arians, not the GM, Tommy's pulling the strings in Tampa.
Yes.
Tommy's pulling the strings. Tommy pulled the strings on Leonard Fournette. But I will tell you this much. He is like the Pied Piper. Everybody wants to go to Tampa. And I'm not just talking offense. I'm talking defense, too. They got Pierre Paul wanted to go play for them on defense. Great edge rusher. That this team is going to be difficult to contend with. The Patriots, on the other hand, they cut Sanu. They gave up a number 2 for Sanu last year. And they had some other options out there that they just didn't go to. And I think a lot of that stuff was driven to keep Tommy happy. So Bob Kraft's second son, Tom Brady, would be happy. But at the end of the day, Bill still makes the call, though, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, he does. He runs the shots there.
Bill says yay or nay. And so,
Exactly.
you know, we'll see what happens. What I see happening in this team, the defense isn't going to be the same. You've got a couple guys, including Hightower, that opted out because of COVID.
Right.
And I'm not going to knock them for doing that.
They have every right to do that. That's their opinion.
They have every right. They do. And they had shit receivers last year. They did nothing to improve the receivers this year. Nothing. We can only hope that N'Keal Harry turns into something. If he's ever on the field, he's yet to practice 2 days in a row. You've got a 35-year-old Julian Edelman, and the rest of them are all a bunch. They don't even have tight ends. So Bill is looking at stacking up. Don't be surprised if Bill picks up Adrian Peterson off the scrap heap this week.
You think so?
I do, because what Bill's going to do, Bill's going to change the league or attempt to change the league like he does all the time. When the Colts were really good, he loaded up on defense. He loaded up on corners to cover the receivers when the great Peyton Manning was there in Indy. He then went to a throwing game. Bill was never an offensive-minded guy. He had Tom. Tom can make anybody good. He turned it into a passing game. Now Bill will turn it into a running game. They will go back to old school smash mouth football, and you will see other teams will soon follow. And that's where, with the money changing and the investment into the quarterback, might change the landscape out there. It might. We shall see. We shall see.
Yeah. I mean, I think with change, you will see different things. So, like I said, it'll be very interesting. It'll be exciting, you know. They don't have Tom Brady, so we'll see what the team is all about now.
Yeah, I don't have high hopes for the team this year, but guess what? That's good. And you know what? For the first time in 20 years, we get to actually enjoy regular season football. Right? Because every time we sit down for a game, we know they're going to win.
I know. That's true.
We're going to be like regular fans this year. We're going to be like the normal fans cheering on our scrub team.
Oh gosh, we're not used to that, so it's going to be different in
I
this house.
know. I know. I don't even know if I'm going to hang the flag up this year in the fireplace.
Oh no, I think you have to do that tradition. Even our daughters like, what's going on?
I know. Tradition every year, Labor Day weekend, we hang the flag before opening night on Thursday night. We do.
We do,
And we
and
got
it
to,
gets stays up all through the holidays.
it does. It really does. Um, I'm going to do this because I have to, because it is, football season is here. I'm excited. We're excited. But I'm gonna make my picks right now for just the division winners only. No wild card picks. I'll give you those next week. But I did go through this week, pick my division winners for all four divisions in the AFC, all four divisions in the NFC. And I'm gonna go backwards on this. I'm gonna start with the NFC. I'm going to start with the NFC West. My pick is the Seattle Seahawks. I just think they have too much. I think they have the best coach. Even though I'm not a big Pete Carroll guy, he's a little too rah-rah-rah for me. But what he does works. That defense is tremendous. Tremendous. And Russell Wilson is a complete stud. I love Seattle and the AFC West. My surprise team is definitely the Cardinals. I love the coach. I love the quarterback. I like the pickup of Hopkins. Anything goes on in the NFL. Anything can happen in a given season, right?
Right.
And, you know, when the schedules are handed out for the following year, they're already, they already came out, and the Patriots got the toughest schedule. Who's got the weakest? We don't know how good the team from last year is going to be this year. So how do you call it a tough schedule? An example of that will be the Jacksonville Jaguars. A couple years ago, remember how good they were. They almost made it to the Super Bowl. The Patriots knocked them out. The following year, they sucked. They were like 6-10, 7-9, whatever the hell they were. So you can't always predict a team's going to be great again next year. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is my flop of the year is going to be the San Francisco 49ers. Now that I've seen more of Jimmy G, I think he's soft. I don't think he's that good. He would probably still be a good fit in New England. I don't know. I just don't know. I know he's got this great record, but to me, he collapsed in the Super Bowl last year. What are your thoughts on? I know there's a big Jimmy G fan group here in this house, including my oldest, because she's got a Jimmy G T-shirt. Thoughts on Jimmy G?
She does like him. I agree. I think that he didn't show up like we thought he was going to. He kind of fell short a little bit, but I don't know. We're still fans here, so I'm still going to root for him and cheer him on. But I do agree. I do think he probably would make a better Patriot under the line, under Bill.
Yeah,
and Josh.
Josh McDaniel, he fits the system. I mean, the coach, he's doing a good job with them there, and Shanahan in San Francisco, but we'll see. The Rams are a joke. The Rams are a mess. The Rams are just, I told you 2 years ago they'd shoot themselves in the foot to sign with all the money they paid for Jared Goff. He's a scrub and a half. He's a scrub. I wouldn't take him for free on the Patriots. I think he's a bum. I do. Okay, the AFC South. The AFC South, and this is going to be interesting because we got Tampa Tom. We've got Drew Brees and the Saints. We've got the Panthers, and we've got the Atlanta Falcons. Pretty good division. Matt Ryan's a guy that I can't beat on him. I don't know why. He's just too likable for me.
Yeah,
I don't know. I love the guy. I do.
We like him.
I do. I would take him in New England, and I know he's lost some big games, but he didn't lose that Super Bowl. The coaching staff did for not running a goddamn football. Thank you for doing that too, by the way, you donkeys. I appreciate that. My pick is Tampa. I think Tampa's going to start out slow, but not as slow as you think. Tom's been prepping these guys and breaking all the COVID rules to get this team ready. So let's just keep that in mind. With no preseason, typically September, for most teams, most good teams, they kind of consider it like preseason, the first 4 games. Don't be surprised if Tampa comes out of the gate 2-2. And then after that, all bets are off. I got them at 12-4. I got them winning the division, and I got the New Orleans Saints right behind them at 11-5, maybe 10-6, maybe 10-6. I think Drew Brees is going to drop off a bit this year. I think they're a bit overrated, and then I think Atlanta's going to hang in there as well, falling right behind them. The AFC North, you got the Bears, you got the Lions. We'll see what Patricia does. I think they were headed into a really good direction last year until Matt Stafford got hurt. What are your thoughts on Patricia and the Lions in terms of how he's been there? I think 2-3 years now coaching them. This is the year I think he needs to do something or he's gone.
Oh, I probably agree with you there. I don't know. I liked him when he was in New England. Now he's kind of is running his own show. And what is Amendola is still over there, right?
I believe he re-signed with them for this year. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did, and I could be wrong there. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see where they go. I still got the Packers winning a division. I do. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play with a chip on his shoulder this year. I think the coach is a complete donkey as well. I don't like that coach LaFleur at all. I don't think he's got the makeup to be a head coach. That might be the thing to throw him off. Maybe the Bears come up. They're going to start Trubisky, so they're going to put him in a starting lineup. I thought he was gone too. So we'll have to see. You can't leave the Vikings out. The Vikings are favored to win the division, actually. Kirk Cousins and company, but again, they're a bunch of chokers too. They lost Diggs to the Buffalo Bills, so I think that's a big loss for them. The NFC least, as I like to call it, because a lot of these teams are just kind of a bunch of phonies, in my opinion. You got Washington, who's a complete mess. A complete mess. The Giants are a mess. And then you got Dallas and you got the Eagles. I think the Eagles will hang in there for the division. I think the coach is okay, even though he irritates me from time to time, but he gets them to play hard football. I think Carson Wentz is also very overrated, very overrated. And then you've got Dallas and Dak Prescott and company, Adrian Cooper, and you got Zeke Elliott. So they're my pick for that division. You feel that way, or do you like the Eagles?
I don't know. Would you say you like the Cowboys?
I like the Cowboys.
We'll see. I just get a kick out of their owner, so he's always cracking us up.
Do you like Jerry?
Yeah, in his private jet on the water.
Yeah, you come over and have some whiskey with me and a little cigar, sweetheart.
His big old yacht.
Yeah, with his little female entourage on the yacht for the draft. I do like Jerry. I do. I really do.
He does love his team. He takes care of them very well, and it's almost like he adopts them as their own.
Absolutely.
So I do like that as an owner. So I like to see that.
In order, I'd play for Bob Kraft first, Jerry Jones second, and Mark Cuban third. I love all three owners, all player owners. I love them. I love them. Okay, AFC West to me is a lock. I've heard some rumors. Colin Cowherd picked Denver to win the division. I don't know what he's looking at. He could be right. He's got the Broncos beating out the Chiefs for the division. I say no way in hell.
No way.
That Chiefs team's loaded. They got everybody re-signed. They're no fluke. Mahomes is no fluke, even though he didn't have his best year last year. He really didn't. But he'll come back. He'll have a strong year this year. I love the Chiefs. You got the Las Vegas Raiders are a joke still. Hopefully they get it together when they move into their new building. And then who am I leaving out?
Beautiful.
Oh, the building's gorgeous, gorgeous. We got to go take in a game there one year. Maybe next year we'll take in a game.
Yeah.
And the Chargers are a complete mess. All right, AFC South. We got the Tennessee Titans with Mikey Vrabes.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
We've got the
You like
Houston
Vrabel.
Texans. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then we got the Indianapolis Colts, excuse me, who now have P-Riv. They have Phillip Rivers as quarterbacking the Colts this year.
Oh, really?
I've got the Colts winning the division.
Why is that?
I just think they have a really good defense that got overlooked last year. They played really well last year to get in the playoffs. I think Rivers is a good fit for that team. I think he's going to put him over the top. I really do. I think Vrabel's playing with fool's gold just a little bit with that quarterback because I don't think he's very good. I think he got lucky last year. I don't think the Houston Texans have enough other than the quarterback. I really don't. Unless they get some other receivers that I'm unaware of coming out of thin air, which always can happen. So my pick's the Colts. I like the Colts. I'll be pulling for the Colts this year. They're becoming a more likable team every year for me. I like to see how that team kind of, went from where they were after Manning was gone and kind of rebuilt the organization. Did a good job in drafting as well. Really good job in drafting. So I like the Colts this year a lot. They're going to be my dark horse to make it to the AFC Championship game, believe it or not. I'd like to see Rivers get in there eventually. I do. I think he's a likable dude. I really like P-Rev. Okay, so now you've got the black and blue division, the AFC North. You've got the Ravens, you got the Steelers, you got the Clowns, and you got the Bungles, right? So the Bengals the Bengals have their new rookie quarterback. Good luck to him this year, especially the poor kid. Talk about being thrown into the fire, so to speak, with very small, preseason and OTAs, etc. Let's just hope the kid doesn't get killed out there in the field. That's the thing you got to be aware of when you're going to start a rookie quarterback.
That's, that's unfortunate.
What's this team going to look like in Cleveland? I have no idea which team's going to show up in Cleveland. They got all the talent, but I just don't know if they have the makeup to get the job done there. I just don't. You got talented receivers. You got a talented quarterback. If he pulls his head out of his rear end and quits, he hasn't been out there much in social media, though, this summer, which is good.
I was going to say, he's been kind of silent.
So maybe he's, as Vince Vaughn won't say, all grossed up. He's all grossed up now?
Maybe.
He's all grossed up.
Grew up over the summer.
My pick's still going to be the Ravens, but I think the Steelers, Big Ben's going to have a hell of a year. So I think those two teams are going to fight it out this year. I really do. I think the quarterback, Lamar Jackson, has something to prove 2 years in a row. I think the tape is out on him, but then again, that guy's so damn quick that you got to catch him first, right?
I was going to say, and who can catch him?
You got to catch him first. So we'll see what he does there. Who do you like in that, David? Do you like the Ravens again, Baltimore, or do you like Pittsburgh?
I don't know. Maybe, as a New England fan, never liked the Ravens, Steelers either. But if I'm going to pick one, I'd probably go, I don't know, Steelers.
Yeah. I think it's going to be close. Nothing would surprise me there. It's amazing. I beat on Mike Tomlin quite a bit too. But God, he's done a hell of a job in Pittsburgh, and he's a likable guy, though.
He is
I could play for
Yeah.
Mike. Mike said good. Seems like a good dude. He's
like
kind of a player's coach. I think he should be tougher sometimes, and maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a method to his madness, so to speak. He's probably the only one that could actually reel in Antonio Brown when you really think about it now, right?
Yeah.
To put up with all that guy's nonsense for that many years.
He did.
And he kept the team from, sticking together until, Antonio Brown started doing all his little FaceTiming in the locker room after wins.
Oh gosh, I think he had his own. He went there to a different warp. I think.
Yeah, he did something.
So.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if concussions had something to do with it.
Yeah,
I'm not even joking because he wasn't that bad. He really wasn't.
But take him out of it. Yes, the coach is amazing with the team.
Well, look at with the team last year where they fought for a potential wild card with a third string quarterback. So they might have a shot. Okay, so I went in reverse order, as I like to call it, when you look at the standings on ESPN. AFC's on top and FC's on the bottom, right? This is just how it lines up on paper. So don't get mad at me because I said I'm going in reverse order. I went with West all the way up to the East. So if you look on it, that's kind of how I worked my way all the way up to my division, our division, the New England Patriots, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, and the sluggish Jets. The Jets are always a mess. And they will continue to be a mess because Adam Gase is just not a good coach. He's not a good coach. A lot of players want it out of there. They're going to be in last place in that division. Watch out for Miami. Watch out for Miami. We love B-Flow, right? We love Brian Flores. I think he's going to be a fantastic coach. He could have mailed it in last year for the number one pick, but he didn't. He still tried to keep winning. I know he did us some damage. That's for damn sure. But I like him. I think he's gonna inch into the fold. I don't think you just throw him out there game one. Actually, that's who we open up with next Sunday. Actually, by the way, Miami comes to New England. Yes. Excuse me. You got the Buffalo Bills. And I do like the coach a lot. I do like the coach. I think he's done a hell of a job with that organization. I think the quarterback is overrated, and that's what can kind of shoot them in the foot a little bit. But I am picking Buffalo, believe it or not, to win the division.
Oh, you are?
I am picking Buffalo.
Oh.
Now, nothing would surprise me if I could see the Patriots. It's crazy. I could see the Patriots at 8-8. I don't, because of the coach and because of how well coached all of them are, they don't shoot themselves in the foot. You know, I've thrown out the number 5 and 11. I threw it out there to Blaze this week. Blaze and I were going back and forth because they just look like, based on what I hear locally, they look like a train wreck on offense. But who knows? Who knows? You know, Bill is a winner. He's a pain in the ass, but he's a winner. Actually, he does look good doing his Subway commercial, doesn't he?
Oh, he got to smile in it.
Yes.
So we actually got to see what a real Bill Belichick smile looks like.
Yes. And it went national last night for the NBA games. He cut the sleeves off the guy's suit.
He
so,
did.
So you haven't seen it. And he's praising Cam Newton, something he never does, something that never happens in New England.
Maybe it's the new Bill. Who knows?
Praising the quarterback. I think it's just to kind of get it, little Tommy. And there's never been a first-year Patriot, selected as captain of the football team. And supposedly it's by player vote, but who the hell knows? Why isn't Jules a captain?
Good question. Why isn't he?
You know, I can't figure it out, but I don't read too much into it. You know, you walk out there for the coin toss and you walk back. But here's what's amazing to me. With all the joking around about the Cam Newton thing and this, that, and the other. If he's anything like he was a few years ago, just without even knowing how he's going to play, you just lost the best quarterback in the division, right? The best of all time. But let's just talk division. Patriots have won a division in what? Last 10 years in a row, 11 years in a row, whatever the hell it is. Like 18 of the last 20 years. You replace him with the best quarterback in that division. He's better than the Bills quarterback. He's better than the Jets quarterback. If Cam Newton's healthy, he's the best quarterback in the division. He might even be second, third, maybe fourth best in the conference potentially, right?
Right.
Because you still got, I think Lamar's got to prove himself, but he looks awesome. I love that kid too.
Yeah, we like him too.
Right? You got Patty Mahomes. You know what though? Patty may drop off. He just got engaged.
Oh, yes.
That obnoxious girlfriend, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not a fan of the girlfriend.
Yeah, we could do without her.
So I would like to say I hope she takes him down because I don't like Kansas City at all because of Kelsey and a couple of the others and Tyreek Hill. But you know what? Pat Mahomes is my fantasy quarterback, so be careful what you wish for, Triple R.
There you go.
So Stids was slated to be the quarterback of the team, and it all fell apart this summer, right? I think his girlfriend shamed him to death. Is what I think.
Kennedy.
Oh, it's his wife, Kennedy. That's right. It's the wife. I'm sorry, Kennedy, the wife. And if you haven't heard any of Kennedy's Instagrams or whatever the other stuff she does, please don't. You can maybe get through the first minute and a half. No. Not good. Not good for Stitz. He's not the future. So my pick is Buffalo. Those are my picks. I'm not getting into wild cards yet. It's too soon. But I think week one's observations will be I'll be ready to roll. And a week from today, I will have a special guest next week as well. A really good guest that I've had lined up and sitting on the bench for me for the last few weeks. And I'll tell you who that is as we close out the show. Couple of things, and then we're going to wrap it up with some quick derby talk. Excuse me, and we're going to get our bets in today. We had a great night up at Conley's last night, didn't we? We had date night last night, by the way, folks.
It was awesome. Actually, it was packed in there.
Packed in Conley's.
Packed with safety, of course.
Packed with safety. Brian's doing all the right things up there.
And it was refreshing to walk in there and see that. They did have the rules. You have to have your mask on, but when you get to the table, you can take it off. But if you had to get up from your table, put it back on. And everybody was adhering to the rules. It was just nice. He had all the TVs going on there and the music. It was refreshing to go in there and see that.
It is. We love it. It's like, to us, it's like the neighborhood bar like you would have back east. We know, we don't know everybody in there, but most of the people live within the neighborhood. A lot of them go to the gym we go to. Like we were saying last night when we left, they said, that's the place where you feel like you didn't have to be the first one to step up if something went down. You got
Yeah.
a lot of people that can definitely hold their own in that place, including the owner. They're all some of the nicest people you'll ever want to meet. It's just a good crowd. It really is. It really is.
Loves his employees. You can just see, he's dedicated to them, and he himself is hustling around. He's in the kitchen. He's back and forth making. He goes to every table. He's just a fantastic owner. So yes,
Yeah. As rugged of a guy you will ever meet. The coolest dude, big dude. He's even wearing the shield last night. I thought that was cool.
he was. He was wearing the
He
shield.
never
Yes.
sits. He's always helping out, and he always makes it around. The one thing I always say is I was never been in the restaurant business, so when I see poor service, I'm like, I could just let me manage the restaurant tonight, right? I'm not talking about the food, right? Inventory, all that stuff. I'm sure I could figure it out. But to bring people back is to manage is also to be a great host. You don't need to have the little gal up front making the rounds. The owner makes the rounds, and that sells the business, which generates the revenue, right? At the end of the day.
The customer experience is what it
Yeah,
is.
great customer experience. That's really what it comes down to. Okay, I'm gonna flip the switch real quick. Excuse me. Let me get a little water in here. We've got, like I said, a big day. We've got Overeem's fighting tonight against Akai, big UFC fight. We also got another good fight on ESPN tonight as well. It's Jamel Herring versus Jonathan Oquento, if I'm pronouncing it the right way. It's a WBO junior lightweight fight. What's drawing my interest to this fight? Herring's an ex. He went overseas. He's done 2 tours,
That's
and
right.
when he came back for his second tour, he has the birth of his second child, which would have been his daughter, and she passed away from SIDS, and he lost it for a good year. And I think it was Terrence Crawford. There's another group now he's training with to kind of bring him out of it. So now he's fighting for her. So it's just a really good story, and he's a really good fighter too. By the way, he holds the belt right now, so it'll be a title fight tonight. So I think that'll be fun to watch. I mentioned UFC. We're going to get to the Derby because that's what we're going to wrap up the show with. But I think you all know. Obviously, I'm a big Joe Rogan fan. Big Joe Rogan fan. Love it. Watch the show all the time. Kind of try to pick up some things that I can do on this show to kind of perfect my craft here. But he had Mike Tyson on. And if you ever watch Mike Tyson, his podcast is amazing. I don't think he's doing it right now. I haven't checked, only because he's not smoking weed anymore these days. He's not smoking because he's training.
Training, right?
So I think we all saw that first video that went viral, right? Where he's boxing,
Oh, he was going crazy.
right? And
Yeah,
throwing those
fast.
jabs.
Absolutely.
Here's Mike on the Joe Rogan podcast this week. This is Mike now talking about what happened after that. What happened after that little session he had.
All right.
Crying to my wife, and I was like, wow. And I don't know why. After that, I should have said, this is over. I'm not going to do it. But that ego stuff, hey, come on, please.
Do you feel like you felt in the old days? Like in terms of your mind, like the enthusiasm about this?
The enthusiasm, yes. Sometimes I feel, I say, this is bullshit. I can't be feeling this good. And then, I don't know. I think I really am. I'm feeling good. I said, this bag must, because I know the bag is a bigger bag, 200 pounds. I said, well, this bag wouldn't be moving like this if I'm not hitting it kind of decently.
No, you look good. This is not like I've seen guys come back and you see them working out and it looks sad and it doesn't look good. What's exciting about you coming back is how good you look training.
So there you go. Just a little take from JRE, Joe Rogan Experience experiment, and you know, Mike is a bad man.
Well, for someone who's been out of it for such a long time and then coming back in, and if anyone out there did see that video, it was very surprising. It was actually exciting to see it.
Mike's a bad dude, and Mike looks good.
He does.
So you know
He
what's
does look good.
funny? Do you know who Mike looks like right now?
Who does he look like?
He looks like the guy who's going to play him, Jamie Foxx.
Oh, you're right. Jamie Foxx. That's right. He is playing him.
Yep.
Yep. That's
That's
right. When's that movie supposed to come out?
that's who Mike looks like. Sorry, I had some speaker issues here. Hopefully, didn't get too loud for the audience there for a second. Had to turn it down. I thought you sounded extra loud from across the house. As we're zooming, I'm in the man cave. It didn't work out for both of us to be in here for the video portion of this. So we've got Yovi is locked down in the game room with the little TVG behind her, so we can get some good bets in for today. We're going to get to that in a minute. But I think the Mike Tyson fights. But he looks like, well, the reason why I'm saying that is, one, I can see Jamie Foxx playing him. I think it's a perfect fit. Jamie Foxx is a fantastic actor too. But he's leaned down, man. Mike looks good. He's down, and I think that's he looks like Jamie Foxx physically. Jamie Foxx is always in tremendous shape, right? Always in great shape.
Yeah, when we saw those pictures of him,
Yeah.
he looks great.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough, I just want to enjoy the fight. I love Roy Jones. So to see the two of them go at it for 8 rounds will be fun. And it's not going to be just some little gimmicky thing either. They're going to go at it. I like both guys. But outside of Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson and Marvin Hagler's up there for me too. The Brockton Bomber from Massachusetts. You know me, I just love Mike Tyson. Love him.
Yeah. You
So
are.
and he's got some fights lined up after this too, by the way.
Yeah, that'll be exciting to watch. I
50
mean, thing is our thing here in this house.
It is.
Um,
53 years old. Never say never.
exactly. Never say never.
That's why I'm getting those skates on, baby. I'm coming back. Watch out.
Say
That's it. I'm coming back.
the hockey skates on.
Watch out. All right. We're going to wrap this up with our picks, or some picks. We've got no fans, unfortunately, today at Churchill Downs. They talked about it, right?
I know it's kind of sad because the whole exciting thing about the Kentucky Derby is just seeing what celebrities are wearing, what kind of the hats the
Oh, I
ladies are
love
wearing,
that. I love that. Yes, I do.
the hair pieces called the fascinators, and just Millionaire Row, just to see who's there, who's who of everything, and the brownstone parties prior to that. So that's a bummer. That kind of takes away from it. But
I agree. I agree.
they get to focus on the actual race itself. But yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer, but I'm glad they're able to, I'm glad they rescheduled it and they are doing it. Like I said, this is our Super Bowl, so to speak, in horse racing. So I'm excited about it. So.
Mint juleps, baby. Mint juleps.
No, you know what? We're actually going to have, in honor of the 125th anniversary of the Twin Spires of Churchill Downs,
That's right.
we are going to have the Woodford Spire drink today.
That's what we're making. Yes.
That is the Woodford Reserve, lemonade and some cranberry juice and some lime. So, cheers to that.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be a fun afternoon. What I was saying to you last night too is I'm happy the track is dry. We were watching the I'm gonna call them the female ponies.
The fillies.
The
They're called
Phillies, the Phillies. I'm sorry. I want to make sure I'm technically get it right here. We watched the Phillies yesterday,
Yes. Yes.
and we got the one jockey who I like. You don't care for, Florent Garreau.
I
he
didn't
want-
say never cared for.
He's my listen to me right now. I'm going to tell you this, folks. You've heard it here. I know crap about horse racing, other than I just pick the long shot and hope it wins. I'm not into trifectas, quinellas, eufectas, whatever it is. I'm not
Trifecta box.
trifecta box. I still don't know. You could teach me maybe because I don't give a shit. I want to win money. I don't want to.
Hey.
I want a horse that's not even. No, I'm joking aside though. You do a great job picking the horses, as does your brother Albert. fantastic at picking the horses. And I might do one of those today. We're going to head up to Conley's here in a little bit. Going to make our picks, going to get our bets in. I really do enjoy the Derby. And it's not because of, you bringing that part of that sport into my life, our lives here. I've always loved horse racing. I told you that before. I loved horses. We even had the greyhounds back home, but for me, it's all about the horse racing. And I think if you ever get to go to a live race or get behind the scenes, it's just a fascinating sport. I think that the jockeys don't get enough credit for what they do. They are very NASCAR-like in terms of driving and put their bodies on the line every single damn race, as you know.
Right.
As you know, your dad's been air vac'd, 2-3 times already, right, in the past?
He's been there, twice.
Yeah.
Once or twice. Yeah.
And what I love about your dad so, after hip surgery, still wanted to work stay in with horse racing, be a part of it. It's part of his life, right? What he grew
Right.
up with.
Yep.
But your dad always did it the right way. I mean, you see some of these HBO documentaries, and you probably know where these guys are purging, they're hot boxing, they're doing all these things, and your dad just did it all the right way. I mean, cardio's up all the time, very fit. I remember he would, I don't know how many miles you are from our house to your mom's house, but it's a little bit of a it's probably a good 8 miles maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and he would run nothing less than 7 miles a day.
Yeah, so he would run
And
from
hiking.
here to be home, right?
Right.
Yeah. So he would do that, and he continues to keep himself fit as he's getting these horses ready for their races is what he's doing now, and he's out in is it Des Moines, Iowa? What part of Iowa? I'm trying to always. I just know he's in Iowa. Is that racetrack? It's Prairie Meadows, right?
Prairie Meadows, yes, I believe it's.
I think it's close to Des Moines.
It's like Altoona, Iowa, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so he is. He's still actually. Funny enough, trainers that see him and things. He's in still jockey weight, is what they call it. He stayed within his weight that he's always been. So when he's training these horses are used to that weight. So when a jockey comes on and they're doing the actual race, they're already conditioned. They already know the feel. They have it. So yeah, my dad's still doing that. He's out there doing it. It's his love. You just talked about him getting the hip surgery and things like that, and we thought maybe he would completely stop. My mom and I get nervous when he does get on horses,
Of
but
course.
where he comes from, he said, is if you have fear, then he needs to stop, and he doesn't have fear.
That's the
and
key.
he like he said, this is his passion. He doesn't see it as a job. He sees it as his everyday thing. It's part of his life. It's who he is. We did notice when he was in recovery and he wasn't at the barn or around horses, it made his morale go down. So he needs and feeds off horses and being around animals. So he is where he wants to be, and he's happy. So
That's
we're
what it's all about. That's what it's all about. We know if you do something that you're very passionate about in life, right? Your dad could have another hip surgery, a knee surgery. It doesn't matter. He's still going to do what he wants to do, right? And
Correct.
you watched the Ronnie Coleman documentary with me, and Ronnie Coleman, famous bodybuilder. I think back in February I had played some clips on what he's gone through. But the doctor said if he'd be dead, like mentally dead, which would probably kill him if he didn't work out. Like the doctor's not about to tell him to stop working out because it's his life. It'd be like dying a slow death for Ronnie Coleman. And I think a lot of us that like to do any type of sport, physical activity, whatever your passion is, once that passion is stripped from you, you are going to die a slow death. You will be like you're on death row. At least that's how I feel. That's kind of my mentality.
And you know what? This is kind of the running joke too for any jockey family out there that when a jockey does get injured, the first thing the jockey always asks the doctor is, "How long am I going to be down for, and when can I get back?"
Yep.
That's the mentality. They're not
Yep.
like, "Okay, good, I get a break. I get to recover." No, it's
Yeah.
when can I get back on that horse, and when can you sign my release?
Yep. Yeah, no, and I've seen it firsthand, and I know I make jokes about it, but it's the truth. One, these guys are extremely fit, which helps with the falls and the bounces and treating your body right, recovery, eating the right things as well. Hate to bring up Tom Brady again because
Right.
sometimes he's over the top, but I'm a believer that the types of foods you put in your body are going to help with recovery and healing. But
Correct.
because they're so think because they're supposed to be light to be on the horse so the horse can fly. But I said because of their overall stature and size, right? It
Right.
helps out with those falls. If it was me getting thrown off the back of a damn horse, I'd be probably a quadriplegic for crying out loud, right? I
Right.
mean,
Yeah, they're able to absorb it, and that's what
hmm
happens. And there's so many things behind. It's fascinating when you're in the horse racing industry and growing up in it. So we see the back end of it, right? The behind the scenes. So um, they teach them in when you're becoming an apprentice. They teach you how to, if you fall, how to tuck and roll, and how to be able to absorb that the hit in the fall. They wear these special made jackets. They're called flak jackets. In a sense, it's kind of thicker and heavier than like a foam, but it's kind of in there and it's all around their chest and their back cavity and up by their neck and kind of goes down the middle of their back. It protects their spine. So when they do fall, that in a sense helps it creates like a little barrier. So they
yep,
wear those. Their helmets are as well. They have great helmets. And so yeah, they have things out there. But yeah, they do teach them how to fall. And if you fall, how to do it right.
yep, yep. Very, very experienced. Basically, they grow up, right? Your dad, as a young kid in Panama,
Right.
this is what they do, right?
Yep, since the
Um,
age of 11,
yeah,
this is what I'm doing, and this is what he was taught, and he kind of, went into the ranks.
yeah. I love it. And you will never meet a better group. I want to say guys, but I've met some female jockeys as well. Fantastic group of people. Very humble. I throw them into the kind of the UFC hockey player crowd, so to speak. This is kind of how I feel about them. Very humble, very tough minded people, physically tough as well. Um,
Oh yeah.
I remember the first time I walked into the jockey room, I felt like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Me at 5'8" and 200, I felt huge. I
You
felt
were huge. You are.
actually I felt like the Mountain, actually, right from Game of Thrones.
Well, they were teasing, if you remember, so we can share with the audience. They were teasing my dad. They said, who you bought the bodyguard with you today? Is this your bodyguard? So they were calling
That's
you my dad's bodyguard.
that's
So
right. That's right. Good times, man. Good times. I love it. And I hopefully there's a petition going around this week to save Turf Paradise. The owner's a complete asshole. Hopefully they do the right things with that track. If we can have this conversation on another time, but
yeah.
I'll continue to say, take the track, move it east, get it close to Talking Stick, get the machines in there, get the gambling going, and you will. To me, outside of I'm drawing a blank right now. What's the place on the ocean in San Diego?
Del Mar Racetrack.
Outside of Del Mar, and maybe some of these other beautiful racetracks that are out there, right? In Dubai and stuff, right? They have some kick-ass racetracks. There's some nice ones here in the States too, of course.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but I would say, and again, what do I know? I can probably tell you that the track in Iowa isn't probably the best viewing type of background. We live in a beautiful state, is what I'm getting to, and with that, when you have potentially could have the McDowell Mountains in the backdrop, the palm trees, put some beautiful waterfalls in the midfield area, right? I mean, you could just do so much with that track,
Well,
and
even
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it could emulate almost kind of like the Santa Anita racetrack in Arcadia, California. I mean, it's just
There
kind
you
of the
go.
same thing. The
There,
Santa Ana Mountains ground and everything. So,
Beautiful. That's right. Because I saw that from a distance. Have yet to go, but we're gonna go. We're gonna go one of these years when we get out to Cali.
oh yeah, it's beautiful there.
But you could do so much, and like what bothers me is like anybody who runs a business, you're in it for the money. You should be in it to make the revenue. That should be your passion, and you want a good product. That is not a good product right now. Nobody knows that track is not a good product. That nobody knows where that track is stuffed behind a Walmart on 19th Avenue and Bell, for the
Well,
most
I'm not
part.
gonna lie. We've traveled all over with my dad, but we have called Arizona our home since 1992. But even growing up, even friends and things like that, when we would tell them about the racetrack, even back then, no one ever knew what it was. They said, "Where is it? Where are you?"
Nobody.
I'd never heard of that, and that has continued. Even now, when you say Turf Paradise, if you're not part of the horse racing industry or a fan of horse racing, people have no idea what you're talking about.
No. No, I know I was talking to Malka the other day. I don't even know how it came up, but it came up. Oh, I was talking about the Derby, obviously. And he said, I didn't even know the track was still out there,
Yeah,
up there off of Bell Road.
hmm
That's awful.
marketing. That's marketing.
Well, it's
They
all
don't want
marketing. Of course it is, marketing. So, well,
to
fingers
do
crossed for your dad. It reopens, so he doesn't have to continue to be out of state.
We shall see.
All
Hopefully,
right. So as we close out this show, I said my pick. I like the hot jockey. I'm sorry, I do. I like Florent. I do. So don't pick on my jockey. He won 4 races for Baffert yesterday. Is that correct?
they were all for Bob Baffert, but he did win 4 races yesterday.
All right, won 4 races. I won at least 1 or 2 for Baffert yesterday. I know that much, right?
He's actually riding 1,000 Words, which is a horse that I do like.
Me too.
And it is a horse.
Right. So it is a Baffert horse. It is right now at 10-1, depending on where the money's going at. By the time we get up to the OTB, he's at 10-1. The other long shot I heard from a handicapper this morning on ESPN is New York Traffic. He said that's a horse to look at. He's down at 18-1 right now, and I don't know where the numbers are. This is about an hour ago. We checked the betting lines, so that would be my other sleeper pick if I don't go 1,000 Words. But I think I'll regret it if I don't, and so my money's going to go on him. And the reason why I say that is there's something to building up. There's a build up, right? So not many people probably watched the Phillies yesterday. Not the baseball team, the horses. The Phillies, the horses, right? But another guy. I want to hear who Eddie O picks. We love Eddie Olczyk,
yeah.
ex NHL guy. He's up in Edmonton right now covering the playoffs. We're big Eddie O fans. He just recovered from cancer a couple years ago, or a year ago, I should say. Love the dude, and he's a big horse guy, and he's been into that. And he does handicapping. I think he's even owned a few of his own horses. But I'm dying to see who he picks today. I think they're all going to go, obviously, with Tiz the Law. But I want to see who the long shot is for them. Who's the dark horse, so to speak, that comes up in this race?
So what's interesting about this race is how pretty much the 3 top contenders, as they say, is Honor AP, Tiz the Law, and Authentic. And they all drew 16, 17, and 18. So they're on the outside. What's interesting about that is how are they going to go and match speeds for speed against each other. And the track is listed as fast. So this is just going to be interesting. But never leave Todd Pletcher out. He has the number 7, Money Moves.
I do like Todd.
We're huge Todd Pletcher fans. He's always kind of in there too. So I kind of have him, my eye on him as well. Yeah,
Is Mike Smith a Pletcher? I know Mike
is riding Honor AP.
Okay.
16. Mike Smith's on him.
That's
today.
down to 8-1 now. That's somebody to look at too, because I know it's about the horse, but also it's about the jockey too, navigating through it all, right? I mean, there's a reason there's a guy on a horse, and it's a reason why they get paid the big bucks to be the top jockeys. So we've got right now we've got a field of 16. We got 2 scratches. Finnick the Fierce went out, and so didn't King Guillermo, right? As of yesterday.
As of yet, yeah. And Finnick the Fierce, his story, I'm sad and happy at the same time that he is out, in the sense of, the trainers and his connections are, worried about him. But his little story was such a cute story in the sense it pulled at your heartstrings because he was born with a cataract in his eye on the right side, and when he was 8 months old they had to go ahead and remove it. They weren't going to go ahead and try to replace it, and just for him to be able to learn to guide himself and be a horse every day without an eye, and then that's why they named him Finnick the Fierce, because he is a fierce little guy. So hopefully we get to see him soon here in the future, and we'll see what he has to offer. But
I like it. And now this is the middle leg, and I'm confused, and I didn't do my homework before I came on the show today.
okay.
Which one's next? Is it the Belmont? Which one ran already? Was it the Preakness?
No, I think the Belmont ran already. You
The
think
Belmont, then it's the Preakness. Should know this. There's one more race, folks. There's one more. We'll see what happens.
I think the Belmont already ran in New York.
I think the Belmont did run no, maybe the Preakness ran because isn't the Preakness in Baltimore, right? I don't know. They got it all backwards. But there will be another race in October, nonetheless. So maybe we'll see Finnick in that one. Nonetheless, this is a very different type of Triple Crown year, unlike any other. But they're racing today, which is exciting. So I'm going to go on record right now. I am picking 1,000. I'm picking 1,000 words to win the race today. I like my jockey. Even though my wife's opposing it, I think that this guy will be. He will be. What did I say? He will be the talk on SVP on Sunday night. Did I not?
You did, but just to clarify,
Yes.
I'm not opposed to the jockey.
Yeah.
You said that. I never said that. And you know what? I just want to say.
You
before
said you
we
didn't
end
like
it-
him because he was from France. That's what you said because you couldn't pronounce his name.
Oh, okay. I don't think so.
No, she
I
didn't
would
say
never
that.
say that.
I'm just joking.
But first and foremost, before we let go and everything, we just want to send those well wishes out there to all the connections. Safe trip to all the horses and the jockeys out there today. It's a tough sport, so
Yep.
we just want everybody to come back healthy and finish the race, and then that's it.
Yeah, and you just reminded me of something, and I'm glad you said that because my first visit to Prescott Downs
Oh yeah.
to see your dad, the minute we got into the park, they were pulling, the ambulance was there, and they were putting the top around. They had to put a horse down. It was probably, I don't get too emotional about things. I really don't, for whatever reason. It doesn't mean I don't care. I do care. I have my moments, let's put it that way. But that one really struck a chord with me that day to see a horse get put down like that. It was difficult. It really was. Knowing what was going on behind there, obviously I didn't see the live injection and stuff like that, but the horse was put down and then carted away. So, yeah, these horses, an injury to a horse is devastating because it usually means death. And then you've got, the jockey as well that you got to worry about getting trampled on. So I'm glad you said that. So let's go on record for you. Who are you picking today?
I too. I'm gonna go and cheer on my 1,000 words.
All right.
I'm gonna do it. And plus, Bob Baffert is a Nogales, Arizona native, so cheer on Bob Baffert.
Oh, yeah, we're going Sizzler. No fighting in this house today. We're going Sizzler.
I mean,
No, we're
we'll see
doing
what
it.
happens.
Yeah, no fighting. All right. It's all
Finally,
good.
for one
Yeah.
sport.
And Canelo's not fighting tonight because then we'd be fighting about that because
Absolutely.
I do like Canelo, but usually if he's fighting somebody else that I like, I'm going to pull for that guy. And I'm not, by the way, we're going to have we're going to wrap this up. I want to go all the way back to boxing, but another donkey that I don't like is Oscar De La Hoya. And I used to be a De La Hoya fan, but just the way he handles business, I don't care for. Maybe I'll come around on the guy again, but at 47, Oscar's making a comeback. And one of the things he threw out there, believe it or not, which I would probably pay to see, is to fight one Conor McGregor in a boxing match.
I heard that too.
But I prefer for him to step in the MMA ring first. I want to see that ass kicking. I do.
Leave the golden boy alone. Leave him alone.
He's the golden fool in my books.
Not in my books.
And when you attack my main man Dana White, it's a joke because you'll get put down every time.
I didn't agree with that.
I'd like to see that fight actually, Dana White and Oscar De La Hoya. That'd be a good one. Yeah, my money's on Dana. Look,
We'll leave that for another show. How about that?
he's a boxer. He's not a fighter, right? He's the pretty boy for a reason. It's like Mayweather's a boxer, not a fighter. There's a
Don't get me
difference,
started on
right?
Mayweather.
Mike Tyson's both. The baddest man on the planet is both. And I'm not knocking them, by the way. De La Hoya's, I would do what they do. Trust me. If you can punch, jab, score points, and not get beat up and be screwed up for the rest of your life, kudos to you, man. And I say it as much as I don't like Mayweather because of his out-of-the-ring crap. Great, great, great fighter. Great tactical fighter. One of the best of all time. He's going to probably go down in the top 5. There's no question about that. The great Mickey Ward. We just watched the fighter a couple weeks ago again,
Yeah, we did. It was fantastic.
right? That guy's a fighter, man. That's a fighter.
Yep.
That's
And
hardcore fighter, right? He'll take you on anywhere, any place, anytime. So, well, look, this has been a great time as you being my special guest, first female to the show.
it was fun. I got to
We,
see it on this side of it. I always
yes,
get to see the opposite end, and so yeah, it was fun.
I know you said you were a little nervous, but you did a fantastic job.
It is a little nerve-wracking. It's funny, even, brushing up on different things. And I said, oh, I understand how some of the guests feel. I said, it's a little nerve-wracking when you're going to go live. And
Yeah,
yeah,
we
so
had a
anyways.
few test runs. We had some technical stuff that we had to deal with, bounce back, etc. So I hope you all enjoyed the show. Tweet me at rwumble55. Please tweet me at rwumble55. We've got a very special guest next week. We've got Joe Corso, who spent his life wrestling, the real wrestling, by the way, not WWE style. Although some of those wrestlers do become like Kurt Angle, go into the WWE, or like a Daniel Cormier or a Cejudo, go into the UFC, and they take those skills in the ring with them and have done really, really well, by the way, right? Really well in the UFC. Joe is an Olympic wrestler, so we're going to talk to him. He's a good friend of Mikey G's, Nikki V's, and Garvey the Boot Biggers. So I never wrestled in high school, so I want to get some insight on what it's like. He does a lot of coaching. He's done a lot of mentoring. He's got a lot of good stuff to share. Very strong wrestling resume. Does a lot for kids. So we're going to get into all of that next week. So I'm happy to have him on the show. We actually had a conversation yesterday, so I'm excited to have him on. He'll be on next week's episode. Really, when I look at the family of cousins I have and friends that I grew up with, none of us were ever into wrestling, ever. We didn't have it back home to begin with. The only wrestling we did was we were, jumping on cardboard boxes and think we were like, the WWF was what it was called back then. This is the real deal wrestling. My cousin Steven did, though. My cousin Stevie G wrestled at Shadow Mountain and was a really good wrestler. So he did wrestle. But outside of that, there was nobody else wrestled in this family. So I think it's going to be a fun interview, a fun conversation. So I'm looking forward to that. So to wrap up this week's show with the great Kid Rock, we're going to come to the end of this summer. So regardless of us being in 110-degree temperatures for the next 2 months, hopefully it cools down by Halloween. As we like to say, it is the end of summer. And I don't know if you still practice put your whites away now. Whites come out at Easter and whites go away at Labor Day weekend unless you live in Arizona.
Say, does that pertain to us here?
It can't apply to us here. I don't even know if it still applies back east. Who the hell knows? I'll have to ask. I should have asked Peter Kraftstad a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that would have been fun.
But in all honesty, have a good weekend. We're all dealing with, unfortunately, we had some things go on with tragedy, this week. The world is starting to open up a little bit. It doesn't mean the craziness is going away. Be safe. Again, stay mentally strong. I say it every week, and I really say it sincerely because this has been a very tough week for me personally. Helping others, help others to stay strong, and what you got to do in a time of something of a passing, losing somebody, regardless of the age. You've lost a life. You've lost a friend, you've lost a family member, you lost a companion, but life's got to go on, and that's how that person they would want you to move on, and try to think of the good times for them. My heart goes out to that family right now. So thoughts and prayers continue to go out to them as they get through a very, very, very difficult time. But what I'm getting to is cut the pettiness. Get rid of the crap. Get rid of the garbage. Get rid of the toxic stuff to make you become more stressed or more crazy. Stay away from it. Stay away from crazy news. Things are going to ramp up, obviously, with the presidential elections. I think things are calming down a little bit in the NBA, which I'm glad to see. Sorry, I just had to beat on that league just a little bit last week. A little bit. Love those players. Love the guys. Continue to watch. I just think we all need like I said, be united. Stay together. Work together. Be together. Life's too short. Blink of an eye, it could be over. It really can. The best day is every day. You live every day to its fullest. And that's all I have to say. I'm going to get off my soapbox now. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to close it out with Kid Rock all summer long. Have a great week. Great Joe Corso will be joining us next week. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for listening. I continue to get a lot of new listeners and subscribers week over week as my voice is giving out right now. I'm ready for a Woodford, please. Woodford on the rocks. Thank you. Again, stay strong. Be safe. Have a great Labor Day weekend, everybody. Seriously, enjoy your weekend. Let loose. We did an unplugged day yesterday at work. Company gave us an additional day. For those of us and those of you, many of us are still working from home. Your home is now your office. Your office is your home. And sometimes, many times, you're very attached to it. And you just need to take that mental break, that mental getaway, as we all need. But to do yourself a favor and enjoy yourself this weekend. Enjoy. We're going to have a family barbecue here Sunday. Games are on, movies, whatever it is that makes you happy, you do it. You do it and take care of yourselves. Kid Rock all summer long. Thanks again, everybody. Great tune. The great Kid Rock. With all that, thanks for listening. I am now officially out. God bless everyone.